Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of the universe, this is Roster Watch. My name is Alex Dunlap. I'm joined by Cody Carpentier. And today, Cody, it's a big day here on the Roster Watch Daily Show because we're going to be talking about Dynasty buys. I was telling you before the show, I'm generally a little bit more comfortable with Dynasty sells, but I have come up with some Dynasty buys. I'll explain why as we go through the process. Why maybe I'm a little bit more prone to identifying sells in Dynasty than I am buys, just because of the way that I team build. But today we're talking about buys. Maybe we'll do Dynasty sells at some point next week. But we want to make sure and get one of these off before the NFL draft. Now's the time with a lot of uncertainty. It's a time that maybe you can leverage some of that uncertainty against some of your league mates in your Dynasty leagues. And so that's what we wanted to do today. I think you have a few more than I do. Do you want to get this thing started?
Sure, let's get this thing started. I'm just going to start at the quarterback position first and foremost. So when I look at the way I'm going to kind of attack this, and I think you'll hear it throughout, is looking at kind of what these teams have for draft capital, what their current situations are it's built around these guys, and kind of maybe a perception of what they might do in the draft. So the first guy I'm going to talk about here is the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans and CJ Stroud. Stroud lost Stephon Diggs. He adds Christian Kirk. The offensive lines got completely revamped. They had Cam Robinson, Ed Ingram, Trent Brown. They had a guy in a DB, CJ on the back end. But on offense, it's kind of been a big shift during this offseason. Tank Dell is on the roster. Well, I've been tapped into the Houston market, I think, more than most other markets because I listen to the radio down there. But basically the way the receiver room has been explained is that Tank Dell's the leader in that room, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but Tank Dell's like the leader in that room. He's the glue guy. He's the leader over Nico, over Diggs. And that's why Diggs, I guess, supposedly wasn't a prima donna last year where he normally has been his last couple of stops. So I think Tank continues to kind of just be around there, be the center of attention, and he'll be back eventually, but not in 2025. Yeah. I think they probably add a receiver at some point in this thing, but with Christian Kirk, with Nico Collins, and then a requisite tight end room, I think CJ Stroud poses an ability to buy right now in Dynasty, given his youthfulness, given he's sort of a guy that a year ago right now, we were talking about the top of these Dynasty quarterback rankings. Right now, we have him at 4 consensus. That's between me and Trash Man. If you look at other places around the market, the Keep Trade Cut has him at 10. Player Profiler has him at 10. I got him at 4. We got him at 4 overall at the quarterback position. I think that poses a little bit of value to go out and acquire CJ Stroud in a market where I don't really want to touch this rookie draft class. So that's where I'm at with CJ Stroud.
I'm looking at so there's this site that I found earlier today. I can't believe I've never found it before. Have you ever heard of Fantasy Calc?
Fantasy Calc?
Yeah. I don't know. It's like they have a trade database here. So I got 3 million different trades and dynasty leagues and stuff. And so I've just been looking at kind of seeing what some of the values are for these guys. And CJ Stroud on this deal, like I'm seeing this one in a one quarterback league where CJ Stroud, somebody traded away CJ Stroud and a 4 for Drake May. What do you think? I mean, what do you think of that? Are we to the point where Drake May is like, I don't have our dynasty rankings pulled up. We don't have Drake May ahead of Stroud, do we?
No. So we have Stroud at, like I said before, QB4. May is at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah. Well, okay. I think. Oh, really? Well, who's that? Who? Let me actually get the dynasty rankings pulled up. I find that interesting. So we right now, so we have. I think it's because this is because Trash Man is probably a little bit too high on Pat Mahomes. I think at age 30, we need to get Drake May should be over Pat Mahomes. That's how you have it.
I have him back to back. I have Mahomes ahead of him by 1 spot.
I think that's probably close to right. Are we higher than consensus on like keep trade cut and stuff like that on CJ Stroud?
Yeah, I just said like we're 4 overall on CJ Stroud. Keep trade cut and player profiler both have him at 10.
Okay. Well, I'm good, dude. I'm glad. Yes, then CJ Stroud's a definite buy right now. It's like people are just how he was CJ Stroud was like somebody that you would consider like the number one overall pick in Superflex coming off of his rookie season. It felt almost like Jaden Daniels does right now. Are you telling me if Jaden Daniels has a little bit of a down season next season, slight downtick that has to do with his favorite receiver and best friend getting hurt and all the rest of it? Like, I don't know, man. I think that CJ Stroud is a good one for sure.
How about this one on that same site? You have Stroud 2026 first, second, and third to get Burrow. We have Burrow and Stroud back to back.
No, I mean, no. So I get Stroud and I get what else?
First, second, and third in 2026.
I mean, I want the Stroud side and the picks.
That's what I'm saying too.
Okay. All right. My first one here. I'm gonna go with a guy whose value I feel like has been a little bit deflated, and rightfully so, coming off of a season-ending injury last year, and people don't like guys coming off of season-ending injuries. Do you know who I'm going to say? A guy who I want to buy that's coming off. I actually have two that are coming off season-ending injuries, but it's Rashee Rice, and the reason why is that I can't get it out of my mind the way that he started the season last year. And the way he started the season last year, only 4 games, but he was looking like an absolute league winner. I understand that that was a point in time where Xavier Worthy hadn't come into his own yet, right? Marquise Brown was hurt super early on. We're going to be getting Marquise Brown back again this year. But just from a pure kind of hand in the dirt football standpoint, I think with Rashee Rice out there operating 55% out of the slot last season. I don't have the exact number pulled up, but I think it was 55% out of the slot during the time that he played. A slot weapon with the degradation of Travis Kelce, with now the fact that you have the 2 outside speed burners that they're not going to be scared to get on the field anymore, right? With Xavier Worthy, he showed through the end of the 2024 season that he belongs out there on the football field. He's a first-round pick, all that stuff, right? But you get the speed of Marquise Brown and Xavier Worthy out there. I feel like that's just going to open things up so much more for Rashee Rice. And his value right now is depressed. People are still worried about, will he serve his suspension this upcoming year for the 4 games? What is it going to be? That thing got pushed off from last year. Will it be this year? I believe Rashee Rice, though, is still 25 years old. This is his age 25 season coming up, coming right into the prime of his career. One of the best quarterbacks in the whole entire league, one of the best offensive systems, offensive play callers, offensive minds. And if you look at some of the advanced stuff from last season, as far as I was looking on PFF, as far as his yards per route run, and last year, if you just sort by that, right? If you look at the guys who just had qualifying numbers, he didn't quite qualify for the 20% of snaps that you would need to, have what we would just consider qualifiers by the PFF numbers. But Rashee Rice last year, his yards per route run, which is a number that I love and we incorporate into our models and everything like that, 3.16. The only guy better than that, who wasn't just a dude who ran only 7 routes or something, was Puka Nacua. He was at 3.23. And then the other guys in that same neighborhood, right? Again, we're looking at 3.16 yards per route run. Puka Nacua is at 3.23. Then you have Nico Collins at 2.86, AJ Brown at 2.61, Ladd McConkey at 2.59, Mike Evans at 2.52, Brian Thomas Jr. at 2.45, Justin Jefferson at 2.43, and Jamar Chase at 2.41. That's unbelievable company for a very telling and very good statistic for Rashee Rice. And if you just want to just do the game log thing and just play the game logs, that's fine. That's fine too. You can just look at it, just go Rashee Rice, game log, PPR. Last year he started the season with 17.3 points, 18.5 points, and 29.1 points. We're looking at 9 targets, 6 targets, 14 targets. And even dating back to week 12 of last season when he started seeing his target spike in the 2023 season. 10 targets, 9 targets, 10 targets, 9 targets, 12 targets, 6 targets, 12 targets, 4 targets, 9 targets, 8 targets. That's a target hog, target monster who's going to get more things opened up for him. I was looking earlier and I'm like, well, all right, well, what am I going to have to pay to get this guy? And it's the same thing that he's going right now earlier Xavier Worthy's going earlier than Rashee Rice right now in best ball. And I'm like, well, what is his price right now, right? And I'm looking at trying to find one here that's not just in Superflex, Rashee Rice in a 2027 first rounder for Drake May. Rashee Rice plus a 2025 1 and a 2025 4 for Nico Collins. Rashee Rice in a super flex plus 2.02 for Sam Darnold, DJ Moore in a 2025 3.05. This is too cheap for Rashee Rice.
Mm-hmm.
Only 25 years old. If he comes back at 85% of what he was, you're hoping he's 100% of what he was, but it almost still feels like a value. Rashee Rice, go get him in Dynasty.
Rashee Rice for us right now is at wide receiver 29. I'm going to talk about a guy that's right next to him in our overall Dynasty rankings, but I'm going to stay in the AFC West for my next buy, and it's going to be back at the quarterback position like Stroud. It's the only other quarterback I have. It's Bo Nix. I think when you look at Bo Nix and what
– it feels like a buy high, though. Isn't Bo Nix super expensive?
No. So right now, if you look on Keep Trade Cut, he's quarterback 11. We have him up at quarterback 7. I think when you look at the quarterback position and you look at where he's at 7, it's just ahead of Patrick Mahomes. We just talked about, it's right ahead of Drake May. Bo Nix is on, I think he's a tier below where Caleb is at, but I think you can make a case that over the course of the next year, I love the Denver offense and where it's kind of projecting, not where it's at today, but where it's projecting. So if he gets up to that next tier, which to me is Caleb and Hurts and Stroud, I think there's a lot more value in there. The guy's 25 years old. He's a top 5 quarterback in accuracy. In 2024 in the red zone, in clean pockets, overall accuracy ratings. He's a guy that threw for almost 4,000 yards, 29 touchdowns last year. He added 400 on the ground with 4 rushing touchdowns. Again, just 25 years old. He ran a 4.7, super athletic, big guy. Like to me, he's sort of taking on, I know it's like the Oregon comp thing. He's sort of taking on the thing that we wanted Justin Herbert to really become. And I think in a Sean Payton offense, a Sean Payton-led offense, that's going to add, to me, another receiver in the earliest rounds. And it's going to add another running back, or a stud running back, I should say, in the early rounds. That's kind of what I'm projecting here. It's going to really raise the boats. He's going to be the tide that raises the boats. That's Sean Payton. And I think part of that is, one of the big tugboats is going to be Bo Nix that rises up. So Keep Trade Cut has him at 11. Player Profile has him at 9. We're at 7 right now. And like I said, I think he's a guy that can jump up to that next tier. Some of the trades out there right now for Bo Nix, it's Bo Nix and a 4th for Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, like I said before, as far as our rankings go, right in that same area. I got Burrow at 10 right now, Nix at 7. So I'm getting a pick with Bo Nix, and I get Bo Nix on that side, so I'll take that. Other trades in the same area, Bo Nix, 110, 2026 second for Josh Jacobs. That one doesn't even make any sense to me. That's half PPR, 12 team, 1 quarterback. Bo Nix for Diggs and Love. Really? Really? Give me Bo Nix. So, like I said, it's in our ecosystem. It's a guy that feels like he's probably priced appropriately or priced high. But when you get out of it, you read the trades that are out there and you read the rankings that are out there for these other places, it poses a little bit of value for these 2 young quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's another one like Stroud. I'm like, why are you going to buy him? It feels like it's a buy high. I have 2 here that are kind of in the similar vein. And look, man, I got a couple that are hold your nose trades. And the reason why I do this is a lot of the I'm not going to go trade for Jamar Chase. I want to draft Jamar Chase.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not going to go trade for the, like my studs on my team are going to be my guys that I drafted in my Dynasty rookie drafts. That's why we put so much time. That's why you're talking an hour a day to you guys about rookies and everything. And we go and travel to all the events and do all the stuff and, try and bring you along with us here on the YouTube. And we certainly appreciate you being on the YouTube, and always like to remind you, if you could please like and subscribe to the show. It really helps us a lot, and it lets us know that you want us to continue doing this here on YouTube and on the podcast. Click follow over on Spotify. We really, really appreciate that. But we don't do it for our health. We do because we want to win in Dynasty. And so I don't want to be giving up my picks, but I kind of also don't mind giving up a ham sandwich for a guy who our intelligence has told us in the past could be good, and I feel like the situations have been bad for him. And 2 running backs from not this last year, but from the year before, that you can get for a ham sandwich that might really fail. Kendre Miller and Roschon Johnson.
Oh boy.
I'm just gonna buy him. I mean, it's like
I'm jumping right in the mud pit.
I'm jumping in the mud pit. I'm jumping in as the mud monster. And if I'm admitting right off the bat that I'm the mud monster, I can get in the mud pit and not get at all dirty, right? It doesn't matter. I'm already covered in the mud. So I'm going to be the mud monster. I'm jumping in the mud with Kendre Miller and with Roschon Johnson, because here's the thing. Everybody thinks, all right, Bears obviously taking Ashton Jeanty at 10, right? Obviously they're going to do it. Or if they don't do it there, they're going to do, like, what if they don't? What if they don't? What if they go Kelvin Banks at 10, or like Armand Minbu falls or something like that? I would take offensive line at 10. What if they do draft a running back that we think is like a top 7, top 8 guy? What if they take a Dylan Sampson, or Cam Scatterby would be a problem for Roschon. But what if they take somebody that's like more of a problem for DeAndre Swift? And Ben Johnson's like, I can make Roschon, I can at least make him my David Montgomery, and we can line this guy for 12 touchdowns this year. I know it sounds crazy, but you got to remember that, Roschon Johnson, it's like, if you think about him from back in college, he was like a wildcat quarterback that was used down in the red zone, even when Bijan Robinson was still in town, to do all this stuff and taking touchdowns away from Bijan. So look, I think that Kendre Miller is a guy with outrageous talent, and they could be doing something to get rid of Alvin Kamara, and it's not and they, the Saints could take Ashton Jeanty at 9, and they could end up taking RJ Harvey in the 2nd or 3rd round or something. And would that be bad? Of course it would be bad, especially if Alvin Kamara sticks around. But if you only have Alvin Kamara there for one more year, there's a kind of a rebuild here, a new kind of lease on life with a new coach that doesn't think he's a total turd. I mean, it's kind of true, man. Things could, if he's just got to stay healthy. He's still good. He still has the talent, and you can get these guys for a ham sandwich. I'm talking about a 2026 4th.
Give me that old. Come on.
But look at the trades for him. Type in Roschon. It's like it literally says bag of Doritos. It is nobody. There's nobody out. People are more likely to drop one of these guys than to trade for them.
Yep.
And so if you're drafting well, and
Roschon or Tyjae Spears
in Dynasty,
yeah.
I mean, Tyjae Spears feels like a bag of chips kind of guy too. I'm not sure I consider him a buy.
No, that's what the trade was. And I also we don't really have them close. I should say I don't. I guess I am. You can blame me for the Roschon Johnson ranking right now in the Dynasty Top 250 over on RosterWatch.com, because Trashman has him in 160s. Trashman has Roschon at 167. I have Spears at 167. I have Roschon at 242.
Well, look, I would have to. Once you get down there, you get speed blind with how you rank dudes, and so I understand how it can happen. But I would prefer Roschon over Tyjae Spears and Dynasty, and understand that the likelihood of failure with both of them is immense. But I just what it could be in a Ben Johnson. I mean, I think it's bad because what it could be in a Ben Johnson offense is just it's just asymmetrical upside compared to a 2026 fourth round rookie pick. So and the same for Kendre Miller. Still, I mean, you remember he's still young. So
Yeah.
those are the two that I'm going to go with. Again, those are the hold. I have one more real hold your nose by that I'll end with, but those are my two, sack of potato chips and a ham sandwich deals. That I mean, I think I think it's smart because if you're drafting well and you have your studs and you have your team with your Jamar Chase and your Amon-Ra St. Brown and your Brian Thomas Jr. and do you know what I mean? These guys that you drafted that have hit, the supplementing with a piece like this that can come in and be like an RB2 based on like touchdown equity in an offense that's ascending. I mean, that's the way that I choose to build my dynasty teams and the type of trades that I'm interested in making. I'm not trying to go and make a trade that my whole league is going to go on to X and tweet about and say, look at this monster.
I can agree with that. I like value, and I think there's a little bit of value in both of those guys if those things unfold the way you just said, and Agenti does not appear or Omari Hampton does not appear. I'm going to go the direction of running back here. I got like eight of these. I got 8 more guys to talk about. So we'll get to them all. But the 2 running backs I'll bring up at the same time because they're pretty close to each other in our dynasty rankings right now. Running back 15, Chase Brown, and running back 18, Travis Etienne. So one of these conversations is more of an open-ended question.
Talk me into these because I think both of them are kind of weird.
Oh, listen, the Chase Brown one is more of a question. I want to just pose the question for potential projection here for the draft. The other one is I think there's an interesting amount of value in this ETN thing. First, I'll start with Chase Brown, though. Chase Brown for us is running back 15. He's running back 17 on Keep Trade Cut. He's running back 16 on Player Profiler. So we're right there, just a nibble ahead of consensus as far as overall ranking for Chase Brown. The reason I bring up Chase Brown is because it's an eerily similar situation to kind of what we saw last year with Kyren Williams. And I would say his closest professional career arc comp is Kyren Williams from the Rams. Cincinnati just spent a ton of money on offense. They need to add edge rushers. They need to add defensive backs. They need to add defense and interior offensive linemen.
Yep.
When you look at the Cincinnati Bengals right now, they have 6 picks in this upcoming draft. 6 picks. And when you look at the Bengals depth chart right now at the running back position, it is Chase Brown, Zach Moss, who has a neck injury. They brought in Samaje Perine, Kendall Milton, Gary Brightwell. Bunch of donks. But what would be a classic move here? Undrafted free agent, undrafted free agent, 5th round pick. Like they're going to go out there and they're going to draft a Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, who I love from Arizona, but he had like 1 game of stats this last year. He's a dart throw. They're going to draft some kind of potentially a Taj Brooks who poses some threat there. But the reason I asked this question is because a year ago, Blake Corum, who a lot of people loved, was drafted by the Rams and didn't really put a dent into Kyren Williams' opportunity share. And I have the same question is like, would you go out and spend for a Chase Brown today so that you can play him for at least this year and probably next year?
Aren't you going to isn't this going to cost me my first round pick, Cody?
Chase Brown, 4, Xavier Legette, and the 303.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, well, all right. Well, you had my curiosity. Now you have my attention. Are you serious?
Chase Brown and
Xavier Legette in 303.
Listen, I get Chase Brown. This happened yesterday in a 1 quarterback 10-team league.
Okay.
I get Chase Brown and I get a 2025 first round pick. What do you think I have to give up?
Can you tell me the position?
It doesn't have a position. It just says first round pick. Let's assume it's 7th.
No, I'm saying the position of the player that you have to give up.
Oh, running back. Chase Brown, 2025 first.
You're gonna have to give up somebody like a first round pick and Chase Brown. Yep. I'd say just somebody that's just under the tier of like Bijan and Gibbs and all those guys. Maybe just under that tier.
So what, like an Etienne?
Yeah.
Yeah. How about James Cook?
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Oh, you're telling me I can get Chase Brown and Omari and Hampton for James Cook, possibly something like that.
Something like that. All
Um,
right. So there's that. How about this
okay,
ETN
dude.
side?
All right. So Chase Brown, if that's what he's going for, it's a screaming buy because Cody's right. Could he get nuked by the draft? There's always a chance. But if you listen to what Duke Tobin said about the extensions and all the rest of this stuff, with T Higgins, with Joe Burrow, with Jamar Chase, and about those three guys collectively taking up 43% of the cap space, they're like, we're gonna have to draft well. And as you see, we have with certain young guys that we're super excited about. And the two that he mentioned, Amarius Mims, Chase Brown. And they said that that's the way that we got to draft is for those kinds of guys. We need those guys to be role players on these cheap rookie contracts. So yeah, man, like, all right, you talked me into that. You're gonna have a harder time with Etienne. And if we have Etienne as running back 18 in Dynasty, that's bad.
All right. Listen,
That's too high.
Travis Etienne. Let me start it out. We got him at running back 18. Just after Josh Jacobs, who's a year older. Just after Chuba Hubbard, who's the same age. We have him ahead of Caleb Johnson, ahead of RJ Harvey.
Whew.
Running back 18 in Dynasty. The market right now, keep trade cut, has him at 28.
It should. That's too
Okay.
high. It's too high to have him at 18.
Player Profiler has Travis Etienne at running back 50.
Okay, so we're way too high.
Who would you rather have? Travis Etienne or Garendo and Keaton Mitchell?
Travis Etienne, or I'd rather have Etienne. I don't want any of them.
Travis Etienne,
Travis Etienne is
two fourth-round picks and a 2025 second.
It isn't that. It isn't that. It's what I rather. It's like, let me look at the
Travis Etienne, 208, third-round pick in 2027.
I understand, Cody, but what I'm saying is what you're doing right now is you're making a point against you and Trashman's bad ranking on him.
No, I'm not.
Because yes, you are. Because the way that this needs to be looked at. Do you care if I sort this by the rankings?
I mean, it's sorted by the rankings, but by position.
Okay. So, all right. So Etienne, the real question is, who would you rather have? Travis Etienne or Caleb Johnson? Caleb Johnson. Travis Etienne or RJ Harvey? RJ Harvey. Travis Etienne or Tyrone Tracy Jr. I'd rather have Tracy Jr.
No, you wouldn't. He's gonna get nuked.
I would, and then
Tyrone Tracy's the same age as Travis Etienne.
Travis Etienne has already been nuked by Tank Bigsby, who stinks.
Travis Etienne is now looked at in what role?
Cody,
he's in the offense. They're not drafting running back in the first or second round.
What?
They're not drafting a running back in the first or second round.
We just did a show the other day saying that this was a sneaky spot to get nuked. You guys have Etienne too high. There's too much.
We didn't even have Jackson, but we had him at number 10 overall.
And do you know who else is too high in this thing? Is Isaiah Pacheco, of all people. What are we doing, man?
Where's Pacheco?
I don't know.
Well, look at Trashman's rankings. I have him at 107. Trashman has him at 72.
Like, I mean, Najee Harris should be ahead of him. Montgomery should be ahead of him. I mean, you're asking me if I would rather have Travis Etienne is 26 years old. I would rather have a fleeting and ephemeral 2-year more experience with an aging Christian McCaffrey as he peters out. I would. There's a lot of these guys. I think I might rather have Jordan Mason.
You can obviously tell me Caleb Johnson, RJ Harvey. I get that because they're rookies, unproven. Like they're going to be top 14 picks in fantasy and rookie drafts. That's bad.
What did you see from Etienne last year that was remotely encouraging?
He was hurt.
Encouraging.
He was hurt.
He wasn't that hurt.
He was.
I mean, he played.
He had a hamstring strain in week 6. He had a shoulder injury in week 4. Missed games for both.
Okay. He missed what? 3 games all season?
But he's banged up all year. He got banged up early. You know how it is when the season gets going. You get banged up early, you're hurt all year.
What, Cody?
It's a hamstring and a shoulder, bro. It's 2 different parts of your body. I'm saying,
they wouldn't even give him
I'm not trying to tell you Travis Etienne's the next sliced bread, like the greatest thing since sliced bread. What I'm telling you is I think running back 50 is hellaciously bad. Again, you can tell me 100% Caleb Johnson, RJ Harvey. I'm wrong. That's bad. I see that now. Again, that's why we converse about it. That's why we do these shows to talk about certain things. But Tyron
and Pacheco needs to come down.
I have Pacheco low. That's on Trashman. Go talk to him. I got him 35 spots lower than Trashman. When you look at what Travis Etienne is at right now, he's
Mason
26
needs
years
to come up.
Who?
Mason, Jordan Mason.
Yeah, I know. I love Jordan Mason. But Travis Etienne, Tyrone Tracy's going to get nuked. Tyrone Tracy, as much as I love him, he's the same exact spot that Rachaad White was in a year ago when they brought Bucky Irving in. I'm not saying they're going to bring in Brashad Smith or something's going to become Bucky Irving, but they're not going to not bring a running back in. David Singletary.
I think the Tyrone Tracy's maybe I think that backfield we decided was 10th most likely to get nuked.
Jacksonville was 10th. Giants were 12th.
Okay. So we've discussed this in depth.
But it's the same.
It's not. It's Cody. You can't say that this is like an Audric Estime, Javonte Williams. Like one of these situations where it's like he's going to get nuked. It's just going to happen. It's like Tyrone Tracy was actually good last year, and the running back
was Rachaad White 2 years ago.
And
draft capital.
Well, not if you look at some of the underlying metrics as far as Rachaad White, as far as the efficiency that Trashman always talks about. But from a fantasy standpoint, reception share standpoint, yes, I can understand that. Tyrone Tracy actually, like to me, looked actually good.
They're the same age.
Who?
Travis Etienne and Tyrone Tracy.
Tyrone Tracy didn't get his job basically taken by Tank Bigsby. I don't know, man. It's like having it. I think 50 is too low, man. But Etienne to me feels like a declining asset. There's no way I'm going and trading for him in Dynasty. There's just zero chance.
All right. I mean, I'm just telling you the trades that are out there right now. I'm willing to give up 2 4th-round picks and a future second. I'm willing to give up the 208, a future third. I'm willing to give up a straight up 2026 second. I'm willing to give up.
You're
Tyrone Tracy.
You're willing to give up the 208? That is RJ Harvey.
No, it's not. Harvey's going to be
not in our mock drafts. All right, he might go 2 picks ahead of that. Because in other drafts, there are going to be guys going way ahead that we just don't pick.
Not when he gets drafted higher than people expect.
I'm talking about right now, though.
I'm talking about the whole point of this is to project for the draft.
But is the whole point to give people actionable information about what they can do right now before the dust settles?
That's what I'm telling you. The ETN price right now out. The point is that the price outside of the roster watch ecosystem is wrong on ETN. They're significantly low and it's declining.
I think we're a little wrong.
Value by if you can go out there and trade a 3rd-round pick or a 210 for ETN, I'm doing it. I love Liam Cohen. I love this offense. He's attached to Trevor Lawrence like he always has been. He's a better running back than Tank Bigsby. And you're looking at a guy that is literally in the Bucky Irving role, who was in the Rachaad White role the year before, who's better than Rachaad White. I love Travis Etienne. You loved Travis Etienne coming out of college. If you didn't, you're wrong because he was good and he still is good. He was just hurt last year. I'm just saying I might be a little bit high on 18, but 50's horrible and 30's bad.
I can agree with that. I think that he should probably be somewhere at like, yeah. I mean, if I just had to say it anecdotally, I think he should be at like 24 or 25 because to me, he feels like a high-end running back 3. So
and that's still a
all right. And I think in most rookie drafts right now, I think you can get RJ Harvey at the 208, just not in ours. Because in the fast draft rookie stuff, I get him in the 3rd round sometimes. A lot. That's how I have so much of him. All right. My next one. We probably got to speed this up a little. All right. So here's a quick one. It's another kind of ham sandwich one, but it's Chris Godwin. Why not just go get Chris Godwin? He was looking like he was going to have a career year to start last season. He wants to be in Tampa Bay. He's on that Mike Evans sort of what do we want to say? Like the ticker tape parade to end his career there in Tampa with his guys, with his quarterback. That I think they're going to try and keep those guys together with Mayfield, with Evans, with Godwin. We saw Godwin use more out of the slot. People will worry about Liam Cohen leaving, but there's actually a whole lot. There's just a lot of content. What's the new guy's name? Grizzard, the new offensive coordinator, Grizzard. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's Grizzard or something.
Grizzard. Yeah, Josh Grizzard.
Yeah. Okay. So he was the passing game coordinator last year. It's like they love the continuity that he has. So I see the Chris Godwin trades happening. And I think the fantasy community as a whole, look, I love Jalen McMillan. I think the fantasy community as a whole is too high on Jalen McMillan. I don't think that they're factoring in the fact that Chris Godwin is better than him. And the team loves him. They've paid him as if they love him. And I was just looking up some trades for him today, and it's like, you just like, I see this one trade, and this isn't a tight end premium, but it's Chris Godwin, 304, 308 for Kyle Pitts. What you get Chris Godwin, and you give Chris Godwin in a round 1 draft pick for Rome Odunze and a 2025 round 3 draft pick. I just don't. I mean, Chris Godwin in a 2026 round 2 for a 2025 pick 202. What? It's almost like you get your instant wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5, and it's Godwin, and you're giving up the equivalent of what is, like, thinking about all those picks. What is that the equivalent of? It's the equivalent of what, like the 205? I like having a pick at the 205 in this class. Mm-hmm. But I think that's a great value for a guy like Godwin, just given his scoring profile, especially when he's used more out of the slot. Like when he's used more like he was in 2022 and to start 2024.
I like him. I mean, I don't really have to be convinced very much on Chris Godwin. We've talked about Chris Godwin on multiple shows. It's pretty apparent how we started last season. Him staying there to take less money, to stay attached to Baker, to stay attached to Evans, to stay attached to this offense, and to run it back and hopefully give us the full season this year of what we expected this past year. He fits that archetype of these guys that last, these Cooper Kupps, these Larry Fitzgeralds, these Adam Thielens, these guys that can work their way into their 30s. So I don't think it's an asset that's going to just fall off the face of the earth like an Andre Johnson or a Julio or something like this. So I'm all the way in on Chris Godwin. I'll give you a couple receivers before. I'm just gonna rip through the tight ends just because I know we're going to be short on time, but I'm going to go through these receivers first. So I got 3 of them here, and I'll let you pick which one you want to combat. So JSN, we have a wide receiver 5. Keep Trade Cut has him at 11. Player Profile has him at 12. This thing just overall feels like a correction that's soon to come for JSN. There's other assets that have been added to Seattle, including Marquez Valdes-Scantling. You look at Cooper Kupp, who's like over. Geez, I am like suffering with the cough here. They add Sam Darnold. Jordan Addison, wide receiver 17. Keep Trade Cut has him at 21, and Player Profile has him at 23. The Vikings are the shortest on draft picks in the 2025 class. They're not going to be adding a receiver. They added Rondale Moore in free agency. This is Jefferson. This is Addison. This is Hawkinson, and this is this Viking offense attached to KOC. And what we've seen when Justin Jefferson misses any time at all is Jordan Addison becomes a monster, and he has true number 1 abilities with no Justin Jefferson in the lineup. No, that's got some injury attached to it, but this is a very high-end asset for a wide receiver 2 that once that contract does expire in a couple of years, I think it's going to be something of that T. Higgins conversation. I'm not sure Minnesota is going to be able to keep him in Minnesota. So that's down the line thinking. And then the last one is Keon Coleman. We have a wide receiver 28. This is a big drop here. Keep Trade Cut has him at 43 in Buffalo, and Player Profile has him at 52. I feel good about Keon Coleman being this high on him because I like the player. I like the prospect.
What do we have him again?
28. He's getting no conversation right now because I feel like all I'm hearing is like, oh, well, Buffalo could go receiver at any point in the first, day or two, like Luther
Probably
Burden, or
should.
day 2, you could go, Higgins or Knoll or Besh or something. And it's like, I think Keon Coleman a year into the system in Buffalo is better than Burden on day 1, even though I love Burden, right? And I think when you look at that receiving room in Buffalo, Khalil Shakir, Mac Hollins is gone now. It's just like a sparse room that I think Keon Coleman in year 2 is really going to take a step forward. So, any of those that you disagree with?
I mean, I'm not a giant. I'm not a giant Keon Coleman guy, and you didn't mention they brought in Joshua Palmer, who I think is just kind of a jag too, but it's like he's definitely an upgrade on Mac Hollins as far as target competition. So I don't know, man. I think I don't mind. I mean, I kind of liked Coleman coming out. Just wonder if he feels like his archetype of wide receiver is just starting to be a little bit kind of a dodo bird in the league. Guys that can't separate and have to, I don't know. I think it's probably fine.
Would you give up Jalen Warren to get Keon Coleman?
I'm not high on Jalen Warren, but I don't think I would. I think I would hold my breath and just do the thing that everybody does every year that we refuse to do, and just throw the hopium out for Jalen Warren. If I had him, but I don't have Jalen Warren anywhere because I've never ever even considered paying the insane price people want for this guy.
Okay. Keon Coleman for 206. That seems a little hefty. 206 seems a little high. How about Audric Estime, Tank Dell, and a third?
Sure. I'm not sure that Tank Dell is ever going to play again.
Here's a ripe one from a week ago. Chris Olave, Keon Coleman.
Chris Olave or Keon Coleman?
Chris Olave's dead. Well, how many concussions has he had though? That's probably why that happened.
Cody, if somebody offered me that trade, I would for one, I wouldn't reply to it. And for two, I would send them an email saying don't ever offer me a trade ever again. Ever again. What you just did was so disrespectful. I cannot believe you just offered me Keon Coleman for the GOAT like Chris Olave. Are you kidding? No.
All right.
Never again. Ever. All right.
You got anything else? I got tight ends.
Go with your tight ends, and I'm going to give you my final hold your nose, horrible trade target to get us out of here.
All right. We'll start out David Njoku at the top. David Njoku feels like he's a career buy. I don't know why people don't move with the market and keep coming up with Njoku. We have him at number 7 overall at the tight end position. Keep Breakout has him at 12. Player profiler we're in line with. They have him at 7. Njoku's in an offense right now. I know there's no quarterback there, but whatever becomes the quarterback, it's either going to be a Kirk Cousins who likes his tight ends, likes Hawkinson, like Kyle Rudolph, or it's going to be a rookie who's going to have a security blanket. When you look at the receiving core in Cleveland, it's Judy, it's Tillman. So you're not exactly going to, scare me off of Njoku there. Theo Johnson, tight end 29 right now for us. Keep Trade Cut has a little bit higher at 25. Player profile at 23. We're kind of right in the middle there. I just want to get Theo out there because that's more of I think a process play at the tight end position, buying these guys after they've been in the league for a year at tight end, year 2, year 3. Theo Johnson, if you look at the fantasy calc trade market for Theo Johnson right now, he's basically a throw-in for a lot of these guys, a 407 in rookie drafts. God, this is a maniacal one. I'm not sure about this. Theo Johnson for Travis Kelce, but I wouldn't probably do that. But like if you can trade like a 312, 402, something like this for a Theo Johnson, I like that. Jonnu Smith, we're ahead of consensus on right now. You look down in Miami, the season he had last year. I think you look at
dude, go get Jonnu. Yeah, I like that. What do you have to pay to get Jonnu right now? Not too much. He's old.
Yeah, we have him at 12. The consensus is right around 18. Jonnu Smith right now in the trade market. Oh boy. Jonnu or Jacoby Myers, Jonnu or Marshawn Lloyd in a 2027 third. He's a throw in here. Jonnu and Isaiah Likely. That seems like pretty fair. Jonnu for Calvin Ridley, Jonnu for Evan Ingram in a 2027 third.
Go get Jonnu for those prices.
I like those. And then the last one was Jatavian Sanders, tight end 22. Again, both he and Theo are kind of process plays with the offenses that they're in. We talked about yesterday about Xavier Legette and all this stuff in Carolina finding a number one receiver. If they truthfully want to give Xavier Legette a chance and they don't spend draft capital in the first 3 rounds on a receiver, and they roll with Xavier Legette and they don't add a Jalen Noel at pick 57, if Xavier Legette doesn't hit apex and Jalen Coker's the target, you better believe JT Sanders is going to get an opportunity to earn some targets and score some touchdowns and create some yak.
All right. Here's mine. Cody, what if I told you that there was a running back available on a team that only had 2 running backs on the roster right now, and this running back doesn't have any, and he's the outright starter, no questions asked. And I told you that this running back was top 5 last season in yards after contact per attempt per PFF, was top 6 in PFF elusive rating, and number 1 among qualifiers at the running back position at PFF in breakaway run percentage over Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor, Bucky Irving, Devon Etienne, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, there's a chance he's going to get sniped, but he costs you a ham sandwich. Just a ham sandwich. We're talking another 2026 third, 2026 fourth. I can't believe I'm going to say it.
What?
What?
Their profile and the ham sandwich.
I can't believe I'm going to say it, but it might be time to look into buying Jerome Ford.
This is Anthony Richardson, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
This is AJ Brown, and you're listening to Roster Watch.
This is Josh Allen, and you're listening to RosterWatch.